In modern society where everyone is competing to get ahead, time is invaluable. So it's really not surprising why many decide it's a good idea to stay up later or get up earlier to heighten their productivity. In fact, research suggests that we sleep 2 hours less each night than we did 100 years ago on average. While this strategy can, of course, be advantageous for many pursuing career goals, reduced sleep comes at a cost when talking about body weight. On the other hand, the opposite is true too, as the likelihood of sleep worsening increases quite a lot the more someone goes above normal body weight. Therefore, today we'll be discussing the two-way link between how impaired sleep can increase body weight and how increased body weight can impair sleep. But first, as always, please take note of our disclaimer. Before we get into today's two areas of interest and how they relate, let's explain sleep and why we need it. Our circadian rhythm, or in other words our inner body clock, occurs in a sleep-wake cycle. This rhythm decides when we sleep, mainly by the secretion of a hormone called melatonin, and when we wake up, mainly through the release of cortisol. It goes without saying that sleep is vital because it helps the brain and body recover, allowing you to get up feeling recharged and ready for a new day, while improving health and reducing the risk of disease. Sleep loss has been linked to an increased likelihood of developing health conditions like increased blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, reduced mental well-being, diabetes, and even premature death. Other psychological problems may also arise from poor sleep, like forgetfulness, brain fog, and a lack of concentration. Further, poor sleep often plays a role in workplace accidents and car crashes, putting others' health at risk as well as yours. Simply put, sleep is an essential bodily function that we need. So much so, the longest someone has ever gone without sleep was 11 days in 1964 by a Californian student named Randy Gardner, who did so to win a science fair. That said, 11 days without sleep is still a pretty impressive amount of time. Yet, despite the clear understanding of how beneficial sleep is to health, the exact reason we need sleep remains undetermined. Among the most popular theories is that sleep allows our brain's energy stores to be replenished, provides an opportunity for enhanced memory and learning, and facilitates the clearance of neural waste products built up throughout the day. Maybe it's a combination of all three. Unfortunately, a common issue among many is that prolonged sleep loss can cause them to normalize it. This is concerning as it means that even if a person is suffering from sleep loss, they could be unaware of it due to the inadequacy becoming just another part of their routine. For most adults, around 8 hours of sleep each night is ideal, although the hours needed increase with youth while decreasing with older age. For instance, a newborn baby may need as much as 16 hours of sleep nightly, while an older adult may need only 7. Sleep can be categorized into 4 phases. Phases 1 to 3 are referred to as non-rapid eye movement sleep, while phase 4 is referred to as rapid eye movement sleep. Rapid eye movement, or REM, which you're probably more familiar with, means exactly how it sounds. It is when both eyes move quickly in the same direction during sleep. In phase 1, light sleep occurs, allowing the shift from consciousness to unconsciousness, which only usually lasts several minutes. Here our bodies begin to relax while our respiratory, cardiovascular, and nervous systems begin to slow down. In phase 2, these systems relax further as they delve into greater sleep. As your cardiovascular and nervous system's function decreases, this will result in your eye movement stopping and body heat reducing. In contrast to phase 1, which was the shortest of the 4 phases, phase 2 is the most long-lasting. In phase 3, the last phase of non-rapid eye movement sleep, our bodily system reaches its lowest functionality, and is when most of the work that helps us feel recharged the following morning happens. And then, the last phase, REM sleep, as we already pointed out, is when your eye motion will begin to jump in each direction. This happens because REM sleep is when your cardiovascular system, nervous system, and respiratory system start to speed up again, which causes the increase in eye movement. This phase usually occurs initially after the first hour and a half and is when dreaming takes place due to it being the deepest sleep phase. Interestingly, it's been suggested that our arms and legs become disabled in this phase because it stops us from physically carrying out our dreams, which I'm sure you can imagine may be chancy otherwise, at the very least. I know you may be asking, but then how does sleepwalking occur if your arms and legs become disabled in phase 4? Well, the reason is that sleepwalking happens in the last stage of non-rapid eye movement sleep, which, as you may recall, was phase 3. If you're a sleepwalker, you're actually in good company, as it's been proposed that as many as 1 in 8 people sleepwalk. Further, it's worth noting that phases 1 to 4 happen in cycles throughout the night. So phase 1 doesn't only occur when you first fall asleep, and phase 4 doesn't only occur just before you wake up. For most adults, phases 1 to 3 take up around 4/5 of every cycle, but as we get older, we spend even more time in these phases as the REM sleep phase decreases. Now that we have covered sleep, how does poor sleep influence weight gain? Firstly, it's thought that poor sleep causes weight gain by impairing the endocrine system's equilibrium. As leptin and ghrelin are some of the hormones that control when we are hungry, this imbalance can make you eat more. Also, reduced sleep has been shown to enhance growth hormone levels and cortisol in our bodies, stimulating appetite and impairing our ability to break down food. Secondly, suppose our brains aren't getting enough of an opportunity to recharge nightly. In that case, this will result in suboptimal functioning during our waking hours, meaning less thought through nutritional decisions for meals and snacks. Another key point to consider is that suboptimal sleep has been demonstrated to cause individuals to be less physically active due to feeling tired the following day. This equates to a higher likelihood of gaining weight from worse calorie expenditure as well as calorie intake. And lastly, just by being awake for longer hours, you'll have more opportunities to eat, which means more calories consumed daily. On a side note, if you're interested in undertaking our evidence-based and results-backed personalized Plato weight management program, please click the link in the top right-hand corner of the video or follow the link in the description. Conversely, let's get into how substantial weight gain can, in return, worsen sleep. Here are 5 examples of comorbidities arising from adiposity that can do this. Firstly, obstructive sleep apnea, or OSA, is a condition marked by the repetitive partial or total collapse of the upper airway that disrupts sleep. There's as much as a 7-fold increased risk of OSA in obese people compared to those with a normal weight. OSA relates to poor quality sleep as it can repeatedly interrupt breathing every night, occurring from 5 to as much as 30 times each hour in those obese. Think about that for a minute. That's once every 2 minutes in the severest cases. The reason why weight gain is thought to contribute is due to the increased fat deposits in areas such as the tongue and the back of the throat, and impaired biomechanics caused by fat store increase in the abdomen. When in excess, these fat stores displace the diaphragm, a muscle that covers the base of the lungs used for breathing, upwards and consequently limits optimal lung expansion. Then, since the lungs can't expand as much as they should, the trachea, or the windpipe, is thought to narrow and restrict breathing. Because of this sleep disturbance, the brain has a lesser chance of reaching the deepest phase of sleep each night, REM, and consequently gets in the way of optimal memory, learning, and overall brain functioning. Secondly, depression can cause sleep disturbances and insomnia, which relates to weight gain as depressed people are almost twice as likely to be obese than those non-depressed. The main hypothesis put forward by researchers for the link between corpulence and depression is due to the pro-inflammatory effects of fat tissue. However, there are other thought contributors too, such as insulin resistance, lower self-esteem, higher body dissatisfaction, disordered eating, and dysregulation of the HPA axis. The next way weight gain may impact sleep is through osteoarthritis, as this pain is commonly linked to poor sleep quality, and those obese have been found to have over a 2.5 increased risk of developing the condition compared to people with a normal weight. Moreover, asthma rates have been exhibited to be higher in those overweight, making breathing difficult and tends to worsen at nighttime, impeding a proper night's rest. Finally, through weight gain, gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD, also known as acid reflux, may lessen sleep. GERD is a digestive issue that occurs when stomach acid frequently flows back into the tube called the esophagus, connecting your mouth to your stomach. This impacts sleep quality through heartburn, chest pain, and coughing. The obese population has been found to have a higher likelihood of GERD, suggested to be due to the extra fat in the abdominal region squeezing the stomach, making more fluid transfer upward. Overall, even though the relationship between increased body weight and poor sleep can become a vicious cycle for many as we've gone through, there are practical solutions within our reach to put an end to it, namely by losing weight and improving our sleep. If you're suffering from sleep deprivation or from any medical issues discussed in this video, for that matter, we highly recommend consulting your doctor or relevant healthcare professional for a proper evaluation and more personalized treatment. Do you find that poor sleep disrupts your diet? Have you any other helpful tips which you use to improve your sleep? We'd love to hear from you in the comments section down below. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. So that has been our video. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.